Back, you're watching Namibia Connects. The Minister of Information and Communication Technology, MICT Phyllis, made her first visit to the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation following her appointment in that portfolio. Addressing NBC staff, the minister thanked the corporation for a world-class broadcast during 3 weeks of mourning for the late President, Dr. Hage Geingob. In studio, we are joined by Mr. Peter Denk, the head of News and Current Affairs, to tell us more about the minister's visit. Very good morning to you, Peter, and thank you so much for making time.
Thank you, Jonas, and team, for having me. It's good to be on the set here, among especially one of our babies. We're just starting out with NAMIBIA CONNECT, so it's great.
Thank you so much, absolutely. The minister spoke about the coverage signal of NBC, which is not yet 100%. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, first of all, Jonas, it was really gratifying to have the minister visit NBC. So shortly after we concluded this, what you referred to in your intro, the broadcast of the morning period of the late Dr. Hage Geingob. So together with her executive director, and then of course the deputy minister, newly appointed as well, Mr. Modestus Amutse, he was also scheduled to be there, but unfortunately there were other engagements that he had to undertake at the office of the Prime Minister. But yes, it was gratifying for her to come and first of all, spoke about her appreciation and that of the government, as a government spokesperson, that of the government for the way in which we as NBC conducted ourselves and also give coverage around what was really a very uncharted territory.
Absolutely.
We have gone into an environment where we didn't know what to expect and how to do it, because as many have said, it was the first time that has happened, and we know it's the first time that it's happened. So from that point of view, and the attendance also from NBC staff was really great as well. The hall, the Studio 4 was quite full, and it was great to see that. And on that also, Director General also stepping up to the podium and really say, we couldn't have done it without the staff. And that has also been my conviction in terms of what we have done with the coverage of the late president to provide. And we have had, I'm sorry I'm digressing from your question, but I'm taking a bit of time, but I'll come back to that. So what we have seen across from the during and after the coverage of these productions, we has received so many words of appreciation from across the world. I can say that people from New York, I know that the deputy ambassador to the UN, deputy permanent delegate to the UN, Ms. Helena Mukhethe, I believe that if I have her correctly, expressed their appreciation because they had been following it everywhere from across the world. And then within the region, so it was great. And I think at this point in time we have to appreciate the foot soldiers, Jonas, the guys who had really been there at the forefront, in the trenches as we speak, and we really appreciate that also. And then just coming to your finally to your question, yes, he spoke about the fact, and it's 74% that we now are covered in terms of our digital terrestrial network on television, and I think a little bit more, if I'm correct, a little bit over 85% for radio. So she mentioned this because access to information is crucial, and what we have seen, the commitment from her side and also her predecessor, Dr. Mshelenga, in terms of making sure that the access to information law is now being operational. We know that there's a process that is still going to be happening before Parliament, and then we will see the appointment of the Information Commissioner and his or her office there. So in that way, she was making reference to that, because that also, as we had seen with this, and also previously, we had seen the NBC being really valued as a public broadcaster and taking the message unfiltered through to the masses. And that is what we talk about when we say access to information. And that way she has made reference to that, yes.
In broadcasting, they say you're only as good as your last broadcast, and you briefly touched on how the minister applauded the NBC for a job well done, all these accolades that are coming in. And this question keeps on popping up. I think even people on social media had a field day claiming that we probably borrowed cameras from ENCA or somewhere else
SABC,
to pull this job off. The question here that's on a lot of people's minds is, will we be able to sustain that level of broadcast that we saw during that 3-week mourning period?
Well, the ball is firmly in our court now. The pressure is on us. We have to take the baton. We cannot regress. We have said that a bar, or if we have raised the bar in broadcasting, I think not only, if I can say that, not only within Namibia, but across the region. We have seen what can be done through technology. And I think yes, as you said, the pressure is quite, it's not an easy task to do. But what I've taken a lot of heart and encouragement from is the support that we are getting, that we have been promised from the Minister, Director General, through all quarters. I believe even with the Finance Ministry, there are talks now in terms of that. We have just heard with Dr. Mate saying that there's a $90 million capital investment that is going to come to the NBC to improve on what we are doing. And technology has been our best friend during this session. But also, and again, that is a very important aspect, is the human resources. We need to look after
the people.
our people and make sure that the environment they are working in is conducive. If you need to have working tools, you don't need to sit behind a desktop that frustrates you, that takes time to load stuff. Things need to be doing, and that is the kind of support that we have been assured, and we will push for us getting that kind of support, so that when you come to work, that things and using technology make things easier. We have seen it with the technology that we employ to doing live broadcasts now so easily. And I think we will need to just, we are in that trajectory for us to look at what more can we do in terms of technology, so that what we need to do is maintained.
Yeah.
Interestingly, when I asked the Minister for her support, she says, look, if you want to maintain the standard that you have set, that is all good and well. But if you want to exceed that standard, you can count on me as the first #1 supporter of the NBC. So I think from us now, we have to look and be very strategic about how we are going to go about to make sure that people would really still, give that support, and that continue to hold our hands, and we go together to make things much better.
One observation, I think, during that 3-week mourning period that came out for me personally was seeing many of our colleagues come out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
With technology comes a lot of fear. There's if I don't know how to use this thing, I don't want to be on screen. But we saw many of them coming out of their comfort zone, taking on that responsibility of looking into the camera, speaking off the cuff. What do you make of that? The fact that people actually ventured into other areas. So some of our colleagues who, for example, are known as producers and editors, but have taken all that reporter role as well, and we've seen them grow in that area steadily. Your thoughts around that?
Jonas, as a person that is sort of looking after, not, I don't know how to put it, but to say that I am responsible for those colleagues. It was so heartwarming to see that people are able to say, no, I'm going to stretch my hand out, I'm going to move my body to get into a territory or a zone that I've not been comfortable with. And that is what we need to learn from this, to say that you cannot stay in your zone and say, no, I'm just here. I'm just being employed as a writer. If you can step up and do what others have been doing across the country, we had been able to get reactions from Ketmans up to Zambezi in Katima across, and these are colleagues that have not been so exposed to this kind of technology that you talked about.
Absolutely.
And this is really very good, and we need to encourage, motivate, and provide small incentives, and incentives would also mean just saying thank you very much. This has been great, and this is what we have been doing. I think there would be also a session or an occasion where the Director General would come and say, we really appreciate what you have been doing. But what you have mentioned, Jonas, is really what is broadcasting about.
Yeah.
Step out of your zone and challenge yourself.
Yeah. You had an opportunity to interview the ED, Dr. Audrin Mate. Just briefly talk to us about the issues that you touched on during that engagement.
Yeah, it is again. It's how he was talking about media diplomacy, and through this we had been able to connect not only by broadcasting to those areas. We had made the signal available to a lot of other countries within SADC, and most of Africa were able to see the signal. Some pirated the signal, but in any case, so that media diplomacy from NBC's point of view was, and we were in the forefront of that, making available the signal. And for a personality like the late Dr. Hage Geingob, that was because his presence were felt across the region during his, and not only him, I think the rest of the Namibian leaders that preceded him. And not only that, from Zambia, where the late president spent a lot of his time as a founding director of UNION, we were able to Ghana to get footage. We were able to have a correspondent from Zambia as well. So that whole issue of media diplomacy is something that perhaps NBC would also need to look at how we should move forward, because in some cases we would think that, and also as the president of SABA, what the ED was saying is, we are currently the president of SABA, but through what we do, we can be perpetually be president of SABA because of how we do things. And it's just also to say that there's no big brother here within the media space. We can do what we can do. Others can support us, and we can provide what we can provide to the best of our ability.
Lastly, the Director General also spoke during the visit of the Minister. What were some of the takeaways from his message?
Something that is quite interesting, and this is to do also with the coverage of NBC across the country, is that maybe May, June, September, there would be an announcement in terms of what we will do in terms of making the coverage bigger, to increase. I don't want to preempt, and it's not my space to talk about those. But I think what he wants to do is to have NBC 100% coverage across NBC through using maybe satellite technology. But I will leave that for the people who know better than me to speak about what efforts are being undertaken to make sure that we, in the farthest point of Namibia, we would have coverage through our own means. And that also, of course, again, it was just also, again, very good to see and to hear from the Director General that he made a point to emphasize the role that the human resources have played in this and still continue to play. And for me, I would think that human resources, the HR, the people on the ground, those must be appreciated. And
well taken
if need
care
be, well taken care of. Thank you very much, Jonas. Thank you so much.
All right, Peter, thank you so much. And it's exciting to hear these things for a company and for someone that also works for this entity. It's good to see that, people are finally, being appreciated as well. And I think this event also really helped. This event also helped, people realize of how much of an important role that they play in the larger scheme of things. Thank you so much.